Well, what's going on, Kings? Welcome back to The Elusive Truth. Today, what we're going to be talking about is cold approach pickup. How to approach a girl when you see her, wherever she is, whatever state she's in, whatever she's doing. How to approach her, entice her, inspire her to want to hang out with you and take things further from that initial interaction. Now, when you Google how to pick up girls, probably 3 out of the 10 of the first videos that will pop up are actually by this guy named David, who owns a channel called How to Beast. So we're going to be breaking down his videos. We're going to be seeing if there's any valuable lessons that we can take from this that you guys can potentially learn, that we can all learn when it comes to interacting with people, interacting with girls, having better relationships, having better interactions. So let's get into it.
What's going on, bro? It's David here, and in this video I'm going to show you a simple method to approach and pick up any girl in under 60 seconds. Plus, I'm actually going to head out on the streets and demonstrate this for you. Let's get started. Alright guys, so before we actually head out onto the street and find some girls, the first step that I have for you is that you absolutely need to look fresh. You need to realize that when you're approaching a girl, as soon as you enter her line of sight, she's going to be sizing you up based on how you look. So for that reason, you want to make sure you have a cool haircut. You want to make sure your facial hair is groomed, and you also want to be sure that you're wearing clothes that fit you well and that look stylish.
Okay, so straight away he goes into appearance. He goes into looks. He goes into, you need to look sharp. You need to look fresh. You need to make sure that you have a cool style, because girls will be judging you based on this when you approach them. Now, this is something a lot of people think. This is something a lot of men believe to be true. And I'm going to be honest, to an extent, it is true to an extent. What's more important, though, is that you have an overall well-kept package, right? Your hair is like decent, like it looks decent. It doesn't look terrible. You don't smell, right? Maybe your clothes are decently fitting. But a lot of guys will take this to an extreme and think that like you have to have the coolest outfit with the coolest color scheme, and you got to have these shoes that, like match the rest of the outfit, and you got to have like a cool belt buckle that you expose to, make it look cool, and you got to have a watch, because girls only like guys with like really cool watches. All of that is frankly just bullshit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. I know tons of guys. I've seen tons of guys that, buy into that whole bullshit and really don't get the best results at all, or sometimes even any results. It's not the thing that really matters when it comes to picking up girls. It's not really what their biology is going to be predominantly attracted to, right? We've talked about this in other videos. Also, women are attracted to higher value males, right? They're attracted to males with specific qualities, and those qualities are indicative of the type of man that they are, right? Also, first impressions, everyone makes this huge deal about, first impressions just being everything, and if you don't have a good first impression, it's over. In some cases, first impressions do mean a lot. With women, lots of times they really don't mean all that much, especially if you're in a vicinity where a girl is in, or you're on the street and you have, some time to talk. First impressions, you want to have a good impression from the beginning, a good first impression, but how many times have you had a bad first impression of someone, and then 20 seconds later you figure out that you were completely wrong and that they're actually cool people, and just your first initial impression of who they were was just wrong, right? It happens all the time. Happens to me all the time. Happens to everyone all the time. First impressions, it's better if you start out with a good one, but they're not the end-all be-all, and they can be overcome. Our perceptions shift over time, so as long as you have a good overall package, I would say make sure your hygiene's on point. Hygiene is one thing that really can affect you socially if you don't have it down, so I would say have your hygiene down and make sure you have a decent overall look and a decent overall fit with your fashion, and you're going to be just fine.
Alright guys, we're in a good spot for filming, and my buddy Dave from Postgrad Casanova's in town.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
So he's going to do some approaches too, but the first one's on me. Let's make it happen.
All right, so there's going to be 3 things I'm going to be looking for to see that he does. These are 3 things that you absolutely have to do if you want to get a good number from a girl on a cold approach. When I say good number, I mean a number that's actually like the girl's going to follow up. right? When you text her, she's going to text you back. When you make plans, she's going to follow through, right? She's actually going to show up and meet up with you. That's a good number. So, number one, he needs to get the girl to qualify herself to him. Now, there's 2 points to be very aware of in a social interaction with a woman. One is a social hook point, and the other one is a sexual hook point. Now, he has to reach the sexual hook point in an interaction. This is essentially when a woman goes from, this is essentially where a dynamic goes from just kind of being platonic and more just kind of friend to friend and normal to her actually having some sort of sexual interest in him to the point where she's willing to meet up with him and take it further. Now, you're going to reach this via qualification, right? This is the first thing. He needs to get the girl to qualify herself to him, right? Meaning she needs to start investing in him. He needs to get the conversation to a point where she's asking him questions, where she's curious about him, where she wants to meet up with him, where she likes what she sees enough in him to want to get to know him further, right? And usually you'll know you're at that point when she starts asking you questions. She'll start looking at you. Her eyes will start getting bigger. Sometimes her vocal tonality will go up. Lots of times her body will actually turn and face you. She'll cross her legs, which is an indication she's not going anywhere. And she wants to keep talking to you. She can do things like kind of touch her hair and look down, or make very strong eye contact with you. Sometimes you'll see kind of nervous gestures coming out, where maybe she's, kind of rubbing the back of her neck, repeatedly rubbing her hands through her hair, doing self-comforting gestures, which are something that are in body language that are indicative someone's getting nervous, right? And she'd be getting nervous for a good reason, obviously. So all of these things are going to lead her to begin to qualify herself to you in an interaction. You have to hit this point if you want to see her again. It's similar to, a salesman on a street just talking to a random person trying to pitch the product. There has to be a point if that salesman wants to make a sale, and I don't want you to think of yourself like a salesman. I'm just using it as an example, but there has to be a point where the customer goes, that's a cool product. Why don't you tell me more about that? Now you can work with that because you have some initial level of interest, right? Next thing, he needs to make actual plans with the girl. So number 2, he needs to have some sort of location, some sort of event, some sort of activity that they're going to do together. Because when the girl is out and about and her emotions die down, she might not be feeling as turned on or attracted because you're not there turning her on, right? There needs to be some sort of event or activity she can logically latch onto as to why you guys are actually going to meet up. Otherwise, this can actually lead to her feeling slutty and feeling like, I'm just going to meet this guy up for sex, right? So there needs to be a location, right? Also, too, if not, it can kind of just be like, well, that guy was cool, he kind of turned me on, but I don't like, what are we just going to text back and forth? Like, how is this going to work? So there's nothing for her to wrap her brain around. There's nothing for her to kind of sink her teeth into and be like, oh yeah, we're going to go rock climbing because I like rock climbing and I like that guy too. I'm going to go rock climbing with that guy, right? So there needs to be some sort of tangible thing you guys are going to talk about and then do. And then you're going to text her about it. Number 3, you're going to get your number in the girl's phone, right? When 2-3 hours go by, her emotions have changed a little bit. She's focused on something else. If you just text her out of the blue or text her the next day and, after a bunch of stuff has happened, there's a chance she might not remember you. There's a chance she's just not going to feel as motivated. Maybe she had a long, crazy night and she got some other guys' numbers. Last thing you want is for her to be like, wait, which guy were you that I met? Right? I've definitely had that happen before, and you don't want that. So get your number in her phone right away. When you get her number, shoot her a text immediately saying who you are. You can leave like a little emoji or something funny. Usually I do it literally within a minute to 2 minutes after we parted ways. Or sometimes you can do it right then and there when you get her number to, just kind of have the number in her phone. So these are 3 things that are essential. I'm going to be judging his interaction and his pickup based on his ability to execute these things and just see his overall game, how he does it, and things like that. So let's get into it.
Excuse me. Hi. Do you know if there's any cool coffee shops around here?
Cool coffee shops?
Yeah.
Pavement is like maybe a mile up there on the right.
Okay.
Or in Austin.
Alright. I gotta be honest with you.
Right.
I stopped because I thought you were really cute.
Oh, thanks.
How's your day going?
It's going well. How's yours going?
Good. What's your name?
I'm Sarah.
Sarah?
Hi.
David, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you from around here?
Yeah, I gotta be.
Did you grow up around this area though?
No.
Alright. You used to this cold ass winter or not?
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people view from Connecticut. There's a lot of like
Yeah.
Connecticut, Long Island.
Do you go to BU?
I graduated a few years ago. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Would you want to hang out sometime?
Sure.
Let me grab your number.
Okay.
Alright, go for it.
203.
All right, boom. I chatted her up for a sec, then I asked her if she wanted to hang out. It really is that simple.
All right, so our boy David strolls up here, uses an opinion opener, chats her up a bit, and goes for the number kill, and he gets it. Now, was this good or was this bad? Well, I'm going to tell you, on the surface, it probably looks pretty okay. It probably looks pretty decent. But in actuality, in terms of this girl actually contacting him back, actually thinking about him later, actually being excited to meet him up, even texting him first to go on the date, as far as what happens after he gets the number, I would say it's actually not very good at all. And I would say he really didn't do the right things necessary in order to really inspire the girl to want to hang out with him later. Although it may appear so in the moment, you have to understand emotions die very quickly. So she may seem a little bit turned on now. She also seems like she was very receptive from the beginning. Not every girl is going to be like this. But in 2 minutes, she could be thinking about something completely different. Or when he goes to hit her up, a couple hours later, her emotions can easily change and she'll be thinking about something else. Her mind, her emotions will be somewhere else entirely because he didn't do the right things to make himself stick, resonate, and stay in her mind.
Anyway, the second step I have for you is to... Yo, what? It's nice and warm in here, huh?
Yeah, it is.
It was getting way too cold outside, guys, and it was raining, so we decided to take it into the mall. The second step I have for you is to flip the script. So when you approach her, you want to start the conversation by asking her an innocent question, like asking for directions, because this is gonna stop her and allow her to enter a conversation with you, and then after that, you want to not waste too much time before you tell her that the real reason you stopped her is because you think that she's cute. And if she accepts the compliment and reacts favorably, then go ahead and ask her if she wants to hang out. She's probably going to be down to give you her phone number.
So we see his system here, which is basically walk up, use an opinion opener, right? Which is an opener that's like, hey, do you know where Starbucks is? But I was just kidding. By the way, I just want to talk to you. And then you chat with her for like a couple seconds, and then you immediately get her number, see if she wants to hang out, right? He's missing literally the most important part of a pickup, of an interaction with a female, and that is to get investment and to qualify her. And he's just completely skipping that. I don't even think he's really aware of it, to be honest with you. Also, too, this opinion opener kind of BS. It does work. It's kind of like there's some old school dating coaches that used to teach you this, but in the end, it can kind of almost bite you in the ass because it kind of makes you look like a pussy in a sense. It makes you kind of look like you couldn't be direct, or you couldn't just start a conversation based on, your own charisma and your own ability. It makes it look like you needed an excuse to talk to the girl. So it's not really the best way to start it. Now, if you have good game, you'll be able to use anything and make it work, to be honest with you. But for new guys, I really wouldn't recommend going this route. One of the things that I always recommend, just notice something about the girl is wearing and comment on it. Say, hey, that's really cool. Or, oh my God, where'd you get that? Or, man, that shirt's really cool. I don't know about those jeans though. Those are looking a little outdated. I mean, you could literally say anything, but usually I go with something that's based off her outfit. Usually I tell her she kind of looks a certain way. Usually I tell her she has a super outgoing yet dorky look to her that's like really funny or really amusing or compelling or whatever it is. I find opening with something like that that's more relevant to what the girl's doing right then and there or what she's wearing is much better than using an opinion opener or a directions opener. Because those kind of start you off in the interaction in a negative almost. It's like, oh, you didn't have enough confidence to just come up and talk to me. You felt like you needed an excuse by asking where the Starbucks is. It's kind of how it comes off. So not really the best way to go about it. Let's continue.
All right, it's Dave's turn to demonstrate this. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's like a Starbucks somewhere in
There
here?
is, yeah.
And if it's still maybe
Yes.
Open?
There's like 4 Starbucks. Yeah.
Are you from Rhode Island?
Not.
You have like a super Rhode Island name. Like, there's like 4 Starbucks. Where are you from?
I'm from Medway, Boston area. Yeah.
Alright, cool. You get the Boston accent. Come on.
That's funny.
What's your name, brother?
Kendall.
Kendall. Dave.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hey, real quick. The real reason I talked to you, besides wanting to know where the Starbucks is, thought you were cute.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
Wanted to say
it.
hi.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So you want to hang out sometime?
I have a boyfriend. Yes.
It's all good.
Yeah,
So,
sorry.
take it as a compliment.
Thank you. I will.
Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you too.
Alright.
Do you want to know where Starbucks is?
All right, so as you can see, she had a boyfriend, but I used the structure, found that out quickly, still made a good connection, and it was all good.
So as we see here, David's friend went up to this girl and does the same thing, does an opinion opener, and then, kind of does this cut the shit where he's like, anyways, look, the real reason why I approached you is this, want to hang out sometime. It's just, I can see why this kind of style has gotten somewhat popular, because it seems very time efficient and direct and just like almost kind of like manly, like straight to the point. But when guys do things like this, even you hear them after describing like, I followed the system and, I found out very quickly she has a boyfriend. Well, a lot of girls are just going to say they have a boyfriend because of the way you're coming off. They're just going to say that because they don't know you, and it's an easy way to just get rid of you. Because you're being so direct, you're kind of forcing an answer out of her. Well, she's going to give you an answer, and that's going to be an answer that's not going to, be helping you getting to know her further. And one of the main things a woman needs to see is she needs to see your personality. She needs to see who you are. She needs to see how you react to things. And when you just come off and do this like 4 or 5 lines and then just go straight for the number, go, hey, you want to hang out? And then you're surprised when she says, oh, I have a boyfriend. And then you're like, oh, well, she had a boyfriend. I didn't want to waste my time with her. It's like, no, that's completely delusional. You don't even know that. If you had hung in there, you would have truly found out if she had a boyfriend or not. And surprisingly enough, a lot of girls, if they think you're a cool guy, will actually just give you a number anyway, even if they do have a boyfriend. Now, that's getting into another territory. I'm not saying you should go hooking up with girls that have boyfriends, but, a lot of girls are in relationships that they don't want to be in. And if they think you're cool and you give them enough time to see that you are a cool guy, then sometimes they actually will give you the number. But if you just go in there and bounce right away, they're not going to be able to see whatsoever. So you're kind of just screwing yourself over. You're not giving the girl any sort of chance to get to know you. You're not qualifying her. You're not eliciting investment. You're not showing her any bit of your personality. You're not showing her what it would be like to hang out with you, to maybe go home with you and take things further with you. You're not showing her anything like that. She has nothing to go off of. So a lot of these girls are going to say, no, I have a boyfriend.
Anyway, the third and final step I got for you is text game. If you use the approach I'm advocating in this video and you get a lot of phone numbers, it's very important that you follow up over text the right way if you actually want to meet up with the girl and go on a date with her. You don't want to waste more than 2 or 3 text messages making small talk and getting to know her. You want to set up the date as fast as possible. So after a few text messages, go ahead and ask her what night she's free. And then after that, suggest some plans. Suggest a place and a time to meet up. And if she's not down right away or she's being kind of wishy-washy, just move on to the next girl. It's not worth your time, bro.
Forget about it.
All right. So I will say I agree with him that you want to keep it short and sweet over the phone. And the whole point of texting is to get her out on a date. But this is assuming you ran pickup properly. If you didn't run the interaction properly and you're doing pickup the way they're doing it, you're going to have a lot of texting you have to do in order to get her on a date, because she's not going to be very turned on. There's a chance she might not even answer your texts. So if you run pickup properly and you do the steps I mentioned before to get the number, then yeah, you can be very straightforward because you've set the premise, you've set an activity that you guys are going to do together, you've made sure you got attraction from her. So then you can be very direct over text. But doing it the way these guys are doing it, you're going to have a lot of you're going to have a lot of an uphill battle to go through, because you left out a lot of steps in the pickup, and that's why they're getting rejected a whole lot, because they're not doing the right things. Also, too, he's saying that, you want to set up the date over text. You should have already done that in person, and you should have gotten your number in her phone literally within 5-10 minutes after you got her number, or right then and there, just shoot her a text as soon as you get her number, so this way she has it. And he's saying, keep it short and sweet, and, if she's being wishy-washy or whatever, just forget about it. Well, like I said, if you're doing pickup correctly, she's not going to be wishy-washy about it. And if she is being wishy-washy, that's because either you ran a bad set or maybe her emotions changed. In that case, you're actually going to have to do a little bit of text game, and you have to know how to do that. I'll get into that in other videos, but to just say, oh, if she's being wishy-washy in 2 or 3 texts, just, forget about it. That's not a very, you're going to lose out on a lot of girls, because there are girls that you're going to approach, and sometimes you will run game very effectively in the right way, and you'll do everything correctly, but something will happen in her life. Maybe a family member dies, maybe, I don't know, her dog could die, maybe something horrible happened in her life, maybe her ex-boyfriend came back in her life. It could be anything, good or bad, right? And you're going to have to, kind of get her attracted and turned on a little bit over the phone or through text in order to get her back out. And that's going to come in with text game. Text game is kind of its own separate art. They're all tied together, of course. Having a good interaction is going to lead to good text game, but that's a little bit different. We'll get into that in other videos, but let's keep going with the video here.
Bro, it's getting kind of toasty in here, don't you think?
Just a little bit.
Yo, that's a lot better, don't you think?
I like it.
It's my turn to do the next approach. Let's make it happen. Hi, do you know if there's a Starbucks in here?
There's not, but if you go through and go to the other side.
I have to be honest with you. I stopped you because I thought you were super cute.
Oh, thanks.
What's your name?
Des.
Des? David.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You from around here or no?
I'm from San Francisco, but I go to school in Boston.
Really? I've heard San Francisco is like the West Coast version of Boston. Is that accurate or not? No, not at all.
I've heard that too, but
Nice.
yeah.
So what are you up to now?
I'm going home. It's my favorite.
Oh. Awesome. Yeah, I'm just doing a little Christmas shopping, but
Thanks.
I'll let you go home. Would you want to hang out sometime?
I'm leaving for San Francisco in about 3 days.
Permanently?
For 6 months.
You're out. I'll get your phone number. Shoot you a text. We'll see if we can make like a last minute meetup happen.
Okay.
Alright, cool. What's your number?
510.
All right, guys, so as you can see, I just chatted her up for a minute, told her why I approached her, and it worked. I got the phone number again.
So I think what one of the main underlying issues is, because there is a bit of this obsession with just getting numbers, and that if you get a number, it's, it's an immediate date, or it's an immediate, you're going to have sex with her or hook up with her, you guys are going to date. Numbers really don't mean anything, to be honest with you. Girls will give their numbers out to tons of different guys, and they'll never text any of them. So he's judging, the criteria in which he's judging the pickup on is inherently wrong. He needs to be judging the pickup. He needs to be judging the pickup based on how the girl is feeling and if she's investing in him in the conversation, meaning she's asking questions, she's wanting to know about him, she's curious about him, she's staying in the interaction for longer, she's the one pushing for plans, she's the one telling him her availability, right? Because she wants to hang out. She's literally doing nothing. It's almost like a salesman coming up to you and being like, hey man, do you want to buy this refrigerator? And you're like, well, I don't know, I don't really like, I kind of have a refrigerator. And he's like, oh no, don't worry about it, that's cool. Anyways, like if you ever like need a refrigerator, like why don't I just get your number, and then we'll like stay in contact in the future. And you're like, sure, I guess. And he's like, oh, okay, cool, and just takes your number down, and then walks away thinking he's won out of the interaction. Like it's not much different than that, to be honest with you. And it's also the way they're doing it. It almost will make a girl feel like a slut if she actually hangs out with you, because there's no reason, there's no premise, there's no motivation, there's no activity that you guys have discussed that you're going to do together, right? There's no subject of what you're going to do. So automatically she's kind of going to assume like this dude just wants to hook up, and there's a very, very large possibility she's not going to respond when you text her.
And by the way, if you feel like you don't have the confidence to approach cute girls when you see them, then good news, I actually have a free online course that shows you the small little challenges I gave myself to rapidly expand my comfort zone so I was able to get to the point I'm at now. And if you want to get access to that, just click the I in the top right corner or the link in the description. All right, bro, you down to demonstrate that one more time?
Let's do it. Hey, excuse me.
you know if there's like a Starbucks in this mall somewhere?
I mean, there's actually one down there, in like right next to Barnes and Noble. It's like their Starbucks.
Are you from Boston, by the way?
Yeah.
Seemed like you had a
Yeah.
little bit of the Boston accent.
Yeah, I go to school here.
Nice. BU?
No, I go to a smaller college, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. Actually, yeah, one of my friends went to Emmanuel
Really?
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's a pretty small school, but.
What's your name, by the way?
Maddie.
Maddie. Dang.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'll be honest. I do want to know where the Starbucks is, but also I thought you were cute. Wanted to say hi.
Thank you.
Would you want to hang out sometime?
I actually have a boyfriend, but thank you.
No worries. Take it as a compliment. Then.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Man, another boyfriend. But you know what? It's all good. By the end, I realized I was not that into her anyway.
And you know what? That is another benefit of using these quick rapid fire approaches. You don't invest a bunch of your time into a girl only to realize that you don't even like her that much.
Yeah, bro. I didn't even like her that much anyway. She wasn't even that cool. I was too good for her. Yeah, okay. When you talk to a girl for a total of 45 seconds, how do you even know if you like her? When you ask her a total of 4 questions, you probably say a total of like 50 words. I mean, you don't even give yourself a chance to even know her. You don't even give her a chance to get to know you. So this kind of little shtick he's doing at the end here, I don't know, maybe he's doing it for the camera, but it's just very funny and kind of typical. Like, oh, she rejected me, but, you know, I didn't even like her. So 3 quick points of action to end the video. When you walk up to a girl, you want to talk to her and be in the interaction long enough for her to be able to get to know you. Don't just walk up, ask 2 questions, and then ask for the number, right? Get to know her, find out what she's passionate about, find out what she likes to do, make some jokes, make fun of her a little bit in a fun, playful way. You know, eventually you'll reach that sexual hook point where she's actually interested in you, and then you can take it from there, right? You can actually set up plans. You can find out what she likes to do, find commonalities, build comfort. Once you have those commonalities, then go for the number. Get the number in her phone, text her as soon as she gives you her number, and then you can follow up with her that day, the next week, whatever it may be. Now, becoming a man who has the dating life he wants, has the sex life he wants, you know, can go into any sort of situation, environment, and pick up a beautiful woman of his choosing on any given day or any given night. Now, that is no easy thing to become. Most guys will never, ever become that. And if they do, lots of times it takes them years. Now, if you want to become all of those things, and you want to cut your learning curve, you want to cut the time in half that it would take to get there, I will be offering one-on-one coaching where we will personally assess your problems and come up with a game plan for you to get the success with women that you want and the success in life that you want. So if that is something you're interested in, I will leave an email below in the description. Go ahead and email me there. Tell me that you are interested in some coaching, and we will go from there. My name's Axel. This is The Elusive Truth, and until next time.